Hey, it's Darley here from daledarley.com and Healing Osteoporosis Naturally. And in today's video, I want to share with you what happened and how I discovered I got osteoporosis. Now, my mum has osteoporosis, but there was something inside of me that said that I had really, really strong bones. Or it could have been that because my dogs had pulled me over so many times and nothing had happened, that that compounded that belief that there was no way that I was ever going to get anything like my mum. So also there's a big difference in age. My mum discovered she had osteoporosis in her 70s and I was 57. So basically what happened was I was leaning over the bed and I went to grab a bag with some clothes and just pull it towards me, and I felt the most horrendous pain just spread across my back. And at the time, I don't even know why I laughed. I held onto the bed, I stared at the ceiling as if somehow God, grace, the universe, somebody was sitting on the ceiling and they were going to be able to communicate with me. And I just looked up and I said, "What do you want from me now?" And after I uttered those words, I just stood there and I could hardly breathe. It was horrendous. What happened next was I called the osteopath that I was seeing at the time. And I'd been seeing her because I had a rib injury. So I'd actually fallen over, but I had been to the hospital. I'd had x-rays, and that was about a year before. I'd had x-rays, there was nothing wrong. And they just sent me home. But what I didn't associate the rib injury with the osteoporosis, and I'll talk about that in another video. So I called the osteoporosis. I called the osteopath, and I went to see her, and she treated me and said, "Look, I probably don't need to see you again, but just in case, let's make another appointment." I went the following week. And I went in such a lot of pain, and I then went off and had a cup of tea with some friends, and partway through that meeting with friends, I just said, "I've got to go. I'm in so much pain." And I had an hour's drive in. I don't know how I did it. I honestly don't know how I did it. And what happened from there was I spent 16 days in bed, but I had someone drive me to the doctors. I went for an x-ray, and when you look at the x-ray, you can see like the bones look really grey up here in the thoracic region, and the lumbar and the hips look like white, dense bone. And I showed them to a chiropractor, and he just said, "Do you want the bad news or the bad news?" And I was okay while I was in his office. I went outside, stood in the street and cried, because I didn't know what to do, because nobody was really, at that point, nobody was really giving me any kind of positives. It was quite doom and gloom. From there, I got a friend to drive me to a local doctor, not the family doctor that I normally deal with. He is an hour's drive away, so I needed to get somewhere really quickly without taking up too much of my friend's time. I couldn't drive, I could hardly walk, it was horrendous. And I remember walking into the doctor's surgery, and I didn't know if they had an appointment, and I just cried, and they agreed that they'd see me that day. And by the following Friday, so I had my x-rays, I'd seen a different doctor this time, so I'd seen a different doctor. By the Friday I went to see a rheumatologist, and she sent me for a scan. And again, I'll talk about the DEXA scan in another video, just to explain what it is. And the scan came back, and actually I had osteopenia, which is a name they give low bone density. It's kind of like a little bit of a warning that your bone is losing bone density. Your bone is losing density, which is natural with age. But people like to classify things so that they can give you drugs. And I went back to the rheumatologist, and she wouldn't listen to me. She did not want to find my root cause. All she did was say to me, I cannot lie to you, you have to take these drugs, you'll be okay. And I just put a folder of stuff together. I went through all of my history, I put down what I was eating, all sorts of stuff, and she just, no, got to take the drugs. And I cried in the street again. I cried on her, I cried in the street, and I went home and I threw the prescription in the bin. And from there was something, there was no way I was going to be treated like this. I wanted to be heard. I wanted to know why. I don't just want to be prescribed drugs. I mean, I actually said to her, I want 6 months to try a natural approach. Give me 6 months. No. So I knew immediately, I'm not going to work with her. I'm not going to work with that doctor. I'm not going to take the drugs. And I am going to find out why I've got this dis-ease, because I don't believe that osteoporosis is a disease and that it's incurable. And I believe that we all have the power to heal if we're given the right ingredients, the right nutrients. But also we have to know what's wrong to be able to put together a healing plan. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this video at this point. What I will say to you is I just went into fear, a massive fear at this point. I wasn't being heard. I didn't know why. You know, I felt like a number in a sausage factory, and I was unimportant. I was worthless. I was of no value. That's exactly how I felt, as well as shit scared. What if my whole body crumbled and I fell to pieces and I was a blob on the floor? You know, there's just, you think of the craziest things when you get osteoporosis. So this is the first part of my story, is discovering that I've got it and just being fed into an uncaring, unhearing, unfeeling, unloving system that treats you like you're a number, and they can just fill you full of drugs. And I want you to know that, you know, as you listen to my story, know that I will find my root cause. And what I'm going to talk to you about is, you know, the process I went through, the things that I ate, the supplements that I took, everything that I've done in terms of making sure that I'm as healthy as I possibly could be while I looked for my root cause. So my message really is I know it's scary. It really is, truthfully, one of the most horrible things in the world. You know, you eat well, you exercise, you do all kinds of really great stuff, and something happens, you fracture, and people don't want to help you, or they can't help you, or they don't know a different way. And I'm telling you that there is a different way, and you can heal. So this is, like I said, part one of the story, and we'll have a look in subsequent videos of kind of what happens next and the process I go through. So I'm Darley from Darley.com and Healing Osteoporosis Naturally. If you want to connect with me, come and look for me. I've got a group on Facebook. It's a fairly young group at the time of making this video, and that's called Healing Osteoporosis Naturally. And I really look forward to connecting with you and helping you, supporting you, and for you to know that you can heal. So lots of love. See you soon.